Okay. Immediately after lunch. After the session, introduction to secondary data, we'll be having what we have day 4, that is overview of multivariate methods and all that. We come in afterwards. Please adjust that. And then to round up the day, the session on introduction to maintaining for referencing will be the last thing we will do for the day, and not tomorrow again. Interestingly, anyway, the facilitator is there, so we can see that this is the last thing we do for today. So those 2 sessions will now move to tomorrow. Are we good? All right, thank you. Tomorrow in the afternoon. Tomorrow after service tomorrow.
What are the 2 sessions that are already slated for tomorrow?
They will not.
They will start the. They will start.
Already 2 sessions slated for tomorrow. So are we having the other 2 that we are moving?
We may not finish it. We continue the next day, which is Monday. Yes.
No, I think tomorrow will be exactly as they are, isn't it?
Tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. Tomorrow will be as
they are.
This other one will come on day 4. The ones we are moving away
will now happen the morning of day 4.
Yeah. They should come before these 2. Introduction to data analysis and do practical sessions on using Stata. So you should get back to this, things and all that. Come on, continue practical sessions.
Practical sessions.
It's just good. Yeah. It's all right. We just continue like that.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Matthew's presentation will come after this one. And then there will be lunch. And the morning of the session for schedule for the morning of day 4 will now come up after lunch. Madam Mendele, you are good. Okay. All right. Why is this not moving again? So examples of descriptive statistics. Can we read?
Media, mode, range, standard deviation, variance.
Continue.
Bar chart, histogram, pie chart, one-way scatter plot, histogram, stem and link diagram.
So let's look at when to use what. I think that's very critical. For non-orderable discrete variables, what do you use? So when we mean non-orderable variables that are discrete in nature and ordering does not make sense. Do we have a marker there? Example, who can give us an example of non-orderable discrete variable? What? Colors. Okay. Another one. Gender. Yes. For example, let's. We don't want permanent. Why you carry permanent? Throw it away. It's very dangerous. So, for example, what I wanted to write is this. Gender. Actually, it's not gender. It's sex. Sex, because gender is another thing, and we don't want to go into the argument of gender. Thank you. You know, I saw we just completed a particular fieldwork, and I saw there that marital status. One of the categories of marital status is now complicated.
Complicated.
Where are we going in this world? Category of marital status, complicated.
Maybe they are
divorce and then now considering marriage or
same-sex marriage.
They are not
Maybe they are in court.
You can see it's confusion.
Court proceedings for divorce.
Complicated. So what is your marital status? The answer is complicated. When the way I was brought up, marital status, single, married, or even divorce was not so common, but later it was added to our lexicon. Divorced. Imagine you submit your CV and your marital status, you put divorce. There are people who will be biased and will not select you. That if you cannot be successful in your marriage, we wonder how you're going to be successful in managing our company.
That will
No, you cannot interrogate you. They will say you are violating fundamental human rights. That one is even no-go area. It's either they don't employ at all. So, sex, male, and then female. So if this is categorized as 1 and this is 2, these numbers only for the purpose of representing them. We are not saying female is superior to male. That is why it is non-orderable. The 2 does not make sense in the literary sense of it. Okay? So you can safely use bar chart. Please just pay attention to this person so that you don't just use the diagram anyhow. Okay? For non-orderable, like religion. Yes?
I thought sex and categorical.
It is a category variable. It's also a discrete variable. It's categorical because you have it as categories. But the real meaning is nominal variable. We're still going to. Am I complicating things further?
Not really, sir. I used to think that for nominal variables, like discrete are like numbers that they are not continuous. So I'm just looking at that word discrete in terms of quantitative and qualitative data, like nominal data and qualitative data.
Yes, because it has categories. That's why they are called categorical variables. But they are not, the word nominal comes from the fact that whatever you assign to them is just a nominal value. Okay? Professor Asa. Because just nominal values. The 1 does not really mean 1 in the true sense of it. And the 2 does not really mean 2 in the true sense of it. Okay? And so you use bar charts. For orderable, discrete, and continuous variables, use what? Histograms. And what's the difference between histogram and bar chart? Yes? One has space. Which one has space? The other one? So this is bar chart. The histogram is without space. Without space. So, because if you don't use the appropriate ones, then you have also violated the statistical principles guiding these variables, these different statistics. So, continuous data use one-way scatter plot, dot plot, histogram, and the stem and leaf diagram. All these are interesting. These different graphs that you can use. And for continuous data, when you're talking of continuous variable, examples include weights, height, all those that can actually have decimal number. It's continuous. But there's also what is we call Kant's variable. Kant's variable does not have decimal, does not have it's the real the whole number, does not have decimal point behind. For sir, integers. That's the word. Okay. For example, you can't have 5.2 children. Why we can have 5.3 as TFR, it does not mean that people can give birth to 5.2 children. We're only saying on the average. And the average value, you understand what it means? As on the average, a woman who is 18 years now is expected to have 5.2 TFR by the end of her reproductive year. It does not mean that she's going to have 5.5 children. Okay, but just on the average. And again, if you look at replacement fertility level, which is established as 2.1, we cannot have mortality of 2.1. But it's saying that nationally, in a country, the replacement fertility is 2.1, meaning that a woman has given birth to 2 children, replacing herself, replacing her partner, and then the 0.1 of mortality of 0.1 contribution from her, we aggregate at the national level and will be consumed by mortality. That is the meaning of 2.1 replacement fertility. So if they say a country has not reached fertility replacement level, it says that the fertility of that country is still above 2.1. So to achieve the fertility replacement, it's not every child that is born that will survive. That is the reason for the 0.1. So that's 0.1 contribution. But let me also send it very clear that the 2.1 fertility replacement comes from this developed countries where mortality has been well moderated. Are you with me? Where mortality has declined so significantly. We cannot even determine for real what is the replacement fertility level for a country like Nigeria yet. Why? Because mortality, although has declined, but is still relatively higher compared to other countries. I saw your hand up. Okay. Okay. All right. So for nominal and ordinal, use pie chart and bar chart. So I don't know why is this not working. Is it off? So when to use what? Use may when you have data that do not include extreme cases and are not categorical. Because if you use may for this, Professor, I will say the may of sex is hermaphrodite. Okay? You get the mean of religion. So categorical variables we have mentioned. So then again, you cannot use me if you have extreme cases. When Professor was teaching me in those years, I don't know if you can remember, there was some old men in our class. One that was Mr. Alfred, that was Mr. Folabi, so those ones, when we were around 18, 19, majority of us in class, some of our classmates were as old as 50. So if you obtain me, what will happen? Those 3 people will distort our median age. So they will now say in this class, the median age is 25 years or 27 years. What that means is that these ones were very old before they came into the university. But it's not really true. It's because of just a handful of people who are outliers in the class. So, and that's one of the reasons why median age is rather better for a country than mean age. So you remember earlier I was asking about the median age of Nigeria rather than mean age, because it will give you the cutoff that is below this median age. 50% are up, are below, 50% are up, meaning that if median age of Nigeria is 19, we have 50% who are below 19 years, we have 50% who are above 19 years. So, and I said earlier, if that age goes to 25, it means that we have now more people at the older age and then fewer. So, when you have extreme cases, do not use mean, but rather use median. And then for mode, when the data are categorical, then we move on to inferential statistics. Let me check the time. I know when to anchor this. What's the time now, please? Where's my 51. Should be having. Okay. So I'll be rounding up this soon. Okay, I think we've already observed tea break. Yeah, we need to finish this by 11. So wherever we stop, we'll merge it with the next session that will come after the Mendeley session. Okay, so we'll move on to, from descriptive, we'll move on to inferential. Inferential statistics. Let's read together.
To make inferences from a smaller group of data to a possibly larger one. Small group is sample, larger group is population.
So the larger group is population, small group is the sample. Say another word for sample is fraction. Okay? And I said earlier, yes, it's good to do extensive inferential statistics. But you can see we spend a lot of time on descriptives, because that descriptives really matters. Then from descriptives, you move on to inferential statistics, where you have small proportion of the population under study, and then you generalize to the larger population. For example, when they are saying the median age of Nigeria, the example we have been using is 90. If that has come from the census, we can say we've collected data from all over Nigeria. But that has come largely from surveys, from DHS survey, from mixed multiple indicator cluster survey, and that's again what we're talking about inferential. In other words, you collect sample and then you generalize because of the rigorous process of sampling, which involve possibly multi-stage sampling that has involved different sections of the population, from urban area, from rural area, from among the educated, from among the uneducated, from the north, from the south, east and west, and you are able to safely generalize. So statistical inference is a method of making decisions about the parameters of population based on random sampling. As I've mentioned, you have done proper sampling. And if your sample size is too small and does not follow scientific process, you cannot generalize. So it really helps to tease out the relationship between dependent and independent. So for statistical inference, for the population and the sample, as you see in this picture, this is the population and this is the sample. So it's the process of drawing conclusion about an underlying population based on the sample or subset of the sample. So the parameter is the population mean, and whereas the estimate is the sample mean. Then you always have the standard error, which is an indication of how much the sample mean will vary if you were to repeat a study using new samples from within a single population. So, and the larger the standard error, the less the precision in terms of the inferences you are making, the true value. And again, that's why when you see a student will say, "Oh, my variables, none of them is statistically significant." It's because, perhaps it may be because of the small sample that has led to very large standard error. And if you have a very large standard error, you're not going to have statistical significance or significance or relationship in your result. So for the statistical inference, we have the concept of confidence interval, which display the probability that the parameter will fall between a pair of values around the mean. And mostly in social sciences, we make use of 95% confidence interval. saying that whatever conclusion you reach, you are 95% confident that the conclusion or decision you have made is accurate, is valid. But in most of the biomedicals, which particularly if they're doing the testing of clinical trials, you want to take more than 1% risk. Why? Because you want, for example, if you are testing a particular COVID-19 vaccine, and you have the control group, you have the treated or the cases. So if they have some severe side effects, so you want to test the side effect between those that are taking the COVID vaccine and those that are taking placebo. So you don't want to risk more than 1% error in terms of the decision you want to make, that these two groups are systematically different. But for social sciences, particularly because you are dealing with human behavior, and humans can be very erratic. And if you do the biomedical or clinical trial 100 times under the same condition, you should get the same results. But when it comes to human, in fact, have you not seen when you most rely on human? That's when we say, no, I don't know you. Say, my supervisor will always tell me that he always trying to think of how Judas betrayed Jesus Christ. He said he always imagining that was too much. Somebody we had together just yesterday, and suddenly today, oh friend, you are here, and they're not just kissing, but people are already around. So human behavior very erratic. So there's some form of room of as large as 5%. Increasingly, people are also getting to 10%. In fact, there's a particular journal, Demographic Research, that does not want you to emphasize statistical significance at 5%. Because he said, that journal says, and you can read about some of these publications, that issues of dealing with issues of human behavior goes beyond just statistical significance at 5%. But what matters is that you need to specify. If you are considering some things at 10%, specify clearly, so that whoever is reading can be guided in terms of whatever conclusion that you have reached, that these decisions are being made at this level of significance. So as sample size increases, the range of interval values will narrow. They may have so much more accuracy compared with sample size. So now we have a long list of examples of multivariate analysis. We will also try to see, we've done some things relating to when to use what for descriptives. We also try to do some justice to this with respect to when to use most of this. Okay? And I think later in the day, after lunch, then there will be some practical sessions on the use of is it today? I think we've moved that to tomorrow. We've moved that to tomorrow. That's when you'll be getting the African version of Stata from Mr. Hassan. All right. So I'm mindful of time, but we'll continue this after. We'll continue this after lunch. Yes, sir. So any question on what we have done so far? Yeah.
Are you sure it's a picture of the stem that the stem, leaf that I've never seen?
Stem?
Yes.
And leaf?
Yes.
Okay.
Like for when you talked about when to use what?
Yes, you use for continuous variable.
Yes, I just want to see how it is.
Okay. Maybe I can pull it out before the next session. Or you've seen scatter plot.
Yes, sir.
Where you see the dot. All right. Okay, in the absence of any other, let's anchor it here and then welcome Mr. Matthew for for his presentation.
Sir, the things you promised, I listed them. Are you sending them to me that I'll share them?
Have I promised other things? I thought I've shared everything.
You send them to us. They haven't gotten to us. No, different, what's it called? Funding sources presented in the lab.
Okay.
Rules guiding winning grants.
No, I said I would teach.
Let me just fix this.
Okay. I said the correct one.
And you've already copied the
My bank connected.
website.
Yeah. So good morning all. I'm here to take us on introduction to secondary data, and we'll be looking at So, and in doing that, I will also be taking us through a journey to National Bureau of Statistics, what we have, and where some of our data that you can use for various research are domiciled. Most often people complain that they don't, or they cannot find their way through to some of what they needed for research. So, but hopefully, as Elisha, I was sent by Elijah to come and deliver some goodies, and I pray I'm able to deliver. So please, as we all know, National Bureau of Statistics was formally established following the reforms of 2005 to 07 period, which resulted in the transition from the old FOS, Federal Office of Statistics, to the new National Bureau of Statistics through the passing of the Statistical Act of 2007. And from the story, the then President Olusegun Obasanjo was at a forum where they were doing some presentations, and when it got to his own turn, he was just speaking theoretically, and those ones asked him that, yeah, you people don't have statistics to show us, because we need to see things, we need to see to ascertain the level of what you are claiming. So without accurate statistics, you can't actually make claim. You're just like beating around. So that was when he came back to Nigeria. I was like, do we have any office in charge of statistics in Nigeria? And they said yes, and really, if you see the picture of the old FOS, you will pray never to go there, and that's actually wasn't giving statistics the needed attention, until when that event took place, and he took it upon himself that no, he must do something, and he acquired this twin building for MBS, and we had a merger between the old FOS and the data bank, the National Data Bank. So, and that was what led to the formation of the new National Bureau of Statistics. So, having said that, So, we'll be looking at introduction to secondary data.
The system.
Okay.
It's affecting the recording.
It's affecting.
Black.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. 1. All right. This is not working. Why?
Is that exploded?
Yes, sir.
You have to use your hand.
Okay, it's working now. All right. Introduction to secondary data. We'll be looking at historical background of NDHS and mixed data. Then we'll be looking at the objectives. Okay.
First one, second one. Which one?
Yeah, Shimeji. Matthew Oladejo. Matthew. Okay. All right. So. So we look at the objectives and relevant indicator to youth study, then interrogating the data sets and conclusion. So background to Nigerian Demographic Health Survey. This very survey, NDHS, was first conducted in 1990 by MPC, which is, sorry, there's a mistake, it's MPC, not MBC. So, and further collaborating agencies, which include National Malaria Elimination Program from Federal Ministry of Health, well as funding was provided by USAID, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, UNFPA, World Health Organization. Then subsequent production of this same, these are the series from, we have 99, 2003, 2013, and 2018 publication. I think if you Google everywhere, that is the most recent, which is 2018. Though from findings, we were told that the recent publication is ongoing. So maybe by next year, it will be out for use. So the primary objective of NDHS is to provide up-to-date estimates of basic demographic and health indicators. There are a lot of indicators which this very survey look at. These are the scope. Looking at the NDHS collected information, they collect information on fertility, awareness and use of family planning method, breastfeeding practices. Why all these are out is so that when you are looking at NDHS for your research, you can understand the scope, what exactly you can find from NDHS. You don't have to snap, you get the slide is going to be given to every one of us. So just concentrate. So it also look at nutrition status of women and children, maternal and child health, adult and childhood mortality, women empowerment, domestic violence, female genital mutilation, of female genital cutting, prevalence of malaria, awareness and behavior regarding to AIDS and HIV, then other sexually transmitted infections. Also, slightly look into disability other related health issues as smoking. Then also mix. You know, these two publications are always brought together for comparison. You look at some things here. If you can't get it in your NDHS, you will definitely get it in your mix. And there are some other ad hoc surveys that we run, and that's why at the end of this presentation, I'll be taking us to navigating the National Bureau of Statistics website, so that we can see where we can get whatever we need at what time. You know, at the front end of the site, there are some things you cannot access, but when you will take it and we'll do more of practical to ensure that we all can navigate very well to get whatever we want to get. So the first edition of Mix was conducted in 1995 by the then FOS. Then subsequent edition of Mix include those of 1999, 2007, 2011, 2016/17, and 2021-2022, which is the most recent mixes. And we started at the tail end of 2021 and we concluded that research 2022, and the research has been launched, is available for your consumption. Then essentially Mix collect data on main indicators related to child survival, development, protection of children, women, men, water quality test. Of course, currently we have the wash norm survey that actually deal extensively on water treatment and all those things. So in case your research is tending towards research around water, those are the publications I will always advise you also look into. Okay. So Mix's main objective is include providing estimates with acceptable precision for important population characteristics such as fertility, contraceptive, population, right? Yes, prevalence, selected health indicators, mainly infant mortality, then HIV and AIDS module, that's among women and men in Nigeria. So also we look at reproductive health, where you look at usage of contraceptive. Sometimes you go to some community, they'll tell you they don't use it because it's against their own practice. And so we cannot just sit in our office and assume that is the general status, right? So you will find some information there. Then maternal and newborn health, antenatal care coverage, skilled attendance at delivery institutions. Currently, they started their training on national health survey. That's I think by next week they will be at the field, and they are looking at health facilities as well as whatsoever that ought to be involved. Checking at the facilities, the care, the health workers there, whatsoever that we need. And the reason why we are doing that research is that most often, like myself before coming here, I'm a gender expert. So most often when people call, they call requesting for data around women, men, and health related issues around women majorly. So if you're going to be doing research around that, very soon some of those data will be made available. So prenatal health check, early marriage, polygamy, marriage before age 15 and 18. young population, young people aged 15 to 19 currently married or in union. Now, you and I know that we live in a time where a lot of abnormalities are happening. Yeah, we can't shy away from it. Maybe it was in the past, but with the advent of social media, people are getting more awareness as regards some emerging issues. And so, most of this our research we need to be expanded so that we can also capture recent issues. The relevant modules, indicators of mix that are relevant to youth study. You have attitude towards domestic violence. We want to look at the attitude of people towards domestic violence. Sometimes when we talk about domestic violence, we check, I think I was privileged to be in Jigawa, a community in Jigawa, where we're asking how people feel about domestic violence. And some of the response that I got, I was shocked because I was not expecting it. Where you feel you are okay, I mean, for your man to beat you just because you got the food bonds, you know. So there are a lot of issues that I just feel it's a mistake. Anybody would have just done that, you know, but to them they justify it as this thing. And you know, so many crazy ideas of people's opinion about domestic violence. Then we have AIDS, sexual behavior, orphans, access to mass media and ICT, subjective well-being, then tobacco and alcohol use. And I think when Doctor was in the course of his lecture yesterday, he said a lot about this use of tobacco or alcohol use, particularly recently. That's why I think that was why some of these drugs like codeine and all those things, so we know it better. So thank you, but that's not the end. That's just the beginning. All right, we'll be looking at introduction to secondary data structure, format and access to National Bureau of Statistics data repository system. So, indeed, I will look at what's the introduction about NBS, the National Statistical System, NBS Data Portal Navigation, NBS NADA for researchers. Then we'll see some pictorial before we go into major practicals for those that are interested, right? Okay, thank you. So this picture, what can you take away from this picture? I look at the picture very well. What comes to mind? I think when you look at it, it tells you have this picture of why we are into research, right? So who can say something?
That the government is overburdened with issues.
Okay. Let's say it one after the other. This is not Oshodi market. Yeah? Any other person?
The bulb is not on.
Ma?
The bulb is not on.
It's not on.
Yes.
Of course now. You know we don't have electricity in Nigeria. So, who else?
We need lights. There are so many issues.
All right. To save us the stress, The man below is Mr. Government. The government are all the various parastatals that are fixed to help government achieve our mandate, isn't it? And as government, you are saddled with trying to find solution to issue of poverty, housing problem, poor education, food insecurity, bad road, inflation, price crisis, no water, governance issue on itself, then unemployment, conflicts. Sometimes in Kaduna, I think the rail system was attacked by bandits, and some persons lost their life, and even some were taken hostage. So issues are just coming up. We still have that relates to health. So as governments, you need to find solution, and you cannot find solution without concrete evidence research that can help you to tell or track trend of events, to know which you can actually place priority on, isn't it? So, and to also know the strengths at which you will need to go further to solving those problems. So by way of introduction and the need for statistics, you know, we are in a data-driven world, and so most often when you go out to talk to people, you must speak with statistics. Failure not to speak with statistics, you are actually risking your job. Maybe you want to get funding for any project, and you are there giving us theoretical explanation. People definitely, they feel you've not actually hit the nail. You get it. So, but statistics, it gives accurate figures. It makes them, you take them through a visual process of seeing the quantum of problem that you want to solve, isn't it? All right. So society needs to be informed. We need to carry people along. Those that are our policy makers. Imagine where they are Babariga. Earlier they are in the National Assembly to speak a whole lot of Turanchi. But you now, as a professional, you are the one coming in to tell them the need why we want to do this. Look at the numbers of people that are marginalized. Look at the numbers of people that are... So without data, these people cannot find sense in whatever me and you were saying. And that is why we need research. Now, government wants to meet the needs of the citizens. You cannot meet... Okay, when you're saying that we need more housing for citizens, you can't just theoretically make that statement. You need facts, isn't it? Hello? Yes. Are we sleeping? Okay. I'm aware I'm in the midst of senior colleagues, so maybe you people will be doing the reading so that we can flow, isn't it? So I will not be teaching. I will allow you people to teach so that we can discuss it, isn't it? All right. So why? Every government agency needs to produce and manage good, reliable, accurate, and timely data that is adequate and sufficient to effectively inform evidence-based policy. Sometimes ago, I was at a National Education and something Commission. So I was asking for some data regarding to various institutions like the entry, enrollment rate, and all those things. So it amused me that some of these data are not also available. Now they regulate various institutions, so they are supposed to collect this data. You know, they are secondary data, right? They are supposed to collect this data from various tertiary institutions, but you know, in the midst of whatever we are doing in Nigeria, funding is always a problem, isn't it? Yes. So, and every budget I see around, there is always one thing: lack of funding, lack of adequate funding, and all those things are always the issue. So, when I got there, they couldn't give me the needed data I wanted for that very research. Now the question is, as government agency that is responsible for that, they couldn't provide needed data. Now how do our policymakers make better or informed decisions about maybe need to equip our various tertiary institutions, or look at areas where there are deficits and what they can actually bring in? So there is need for us to collect this data, and this data possibly have period. There are specific period that these data are needed. Some are collected maybe quarterly and some are annually. And if you can't get those data, automatically you've lost it. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So it also helps governments to identify society problems that need attention, assist policymakers to pick the best course of action in addressing problems, promote effective delivery of public service, an indispensable and core requirement of accountability, a good source of information for researchers to make insights into situation. You see, like Prof was talking yesterday, I think he was saying research means someone has done that research before, or someone had done an investigation around it before, so we are not the first. That means someone has passed through that staircase where he got tired, you are coming to make, and maybe as of when the person finished, that might even be the end. But with the emergence of new trends, there is need to also expand that search. So if we don't have regular research work done on some areas, it might be, we might lose track over time. So National Bureau of Statistics was established by the Act of 2007. Section 5 of the Statistical Act empowers NBS as the main national agency responsible for the development and management of statistics in Nigeria. They also serve as the authoritative source and custodian of official statistics in the country. I know most of these things are not new to any of us, or is there anybody that is new to some of this? Are we new to some of these ideas? So fine. Now, NBS is to act as the coordination, or they coordinate the national statistical system. They advise both the federal, state, and local governments on all matters related to statistical development in Nigeria. They also help in developing and promoting the use of statistical standard and appropriate methodology in the national statistical system. Collecting, compiling, analyzing, interpreting, and publishing and disseminating statistical information alone and in collaboration with other agencies, both government and non-governmental organizations. So NBS is open for various collaboration, and most often, sometimes you have publications that are not actually led by NBS, maybe by other organizations, but we just partner with them. So NBS provide focal points of contact with international agencies on statistical matters and fulfilling other functions related to statistics which the federal government may entrust to it. Then also to maintain a comprehensive national data bank. Now this is the structure of NBS. The Bureau has roughly over 2,200 staff across the states of the Federation. They have office in Abuja, which is the national office. Then we have 6 zonal offices in the various geopolitical zone, as well as 36 offices in the entire state. We also run School of Statistics, which we have 3 School of Statistics. One is in Ibadan, one is in I think Port Harcourt also. There's Enugu, sorry, while one is in the north, I think Adamawa also. Okay, so in all our processes of study, we use these 3 vehicles to achieve whatever we're doing as a research organization. We have National Integrated Survey of Household, which is abbreviated as NICHE. Now, all household-based survey or studies are done using this very tool, the NICHE. Now, the NICHE has a framework, is a framework for conducting household-based survey, and it has about 23,280 EAs across all the 36 states of the Federation. So, and sometimes we also recently acquired about 662 additional EAs from NPC, that's National Population Commission, and these EAs are also meant to canvass both the urban and rural areas as well. Then samples are often taken from the NICHE for all our household surveys. So whatever kind of survey, household-based survey we want to use, we use the NICHE to achieve that. Then on the other hand, we also have the NICE, which is National Integrated Survey of Establishments. So when we want to run establishments kind of study, we use this NICE. And NICE has a direct, recently I think we did a survey on establishment last year, and we also updated the directory. So currently we have about 1,360 271 registered and informal businesses in about 46 classified economic activities under this NICE. Then it is really nationally, it represents a national kind of thing. Then also for administrative statistics, we use SARS. SARS is used
reporting domain, the states, and then collaborating agencies like the MPS, the IO, National Labour Organization. Can I continue?
Yes, ma'am. Just finish it up.
The objectives, under you have the objective and then assess the extent and characteristic causes and consequences of the involvement of children age 5 to 17 in working activities. I think this speaks to the National Child and Forced Labor.
Forced labor, yeah. The objective of that very research.
So the coverage now, the national coverage, the sample size used for that, am I correct?
Yes.
Is this speaking to?
Sorry, ma'am.
Is this one speaking to this?
Yes, this is the sample size. It was a sample that was supposed to represent the national, is a national coverage, and the sample size is 16,650 households that were covered nationwide. Then the reporting domain is the states. Then the personnel that were involved in that research are staff of MBS, staff of Federal Ministry of Labor, then you have States Bureau of Statistics. So it wasn't just MBS. Then the current status, the job has been done. As of when this presentation was prepared, it was ongoing, right? So this is for forced labor. In those days, we used to have it as a labor survey only, but since our donor wanted to also look at the child aspect of it, they now added National Child. That was what led to the change in the name as National Child and Forced Labor. So also we have a National Health Facility Survey. Who can help us with this? Currently, the National Health Facility Survey, they are having their TOT currently ongoing, and by special grace of God, in the near week, they should be out, or weeks to come, they should be out for it. Can someone help us with this?
National Health Facility Survey, coverage national, reporting domain states, collaborative agencies, MPS, World Bank, Federal Ministry of Health. Objectives: to collect health facility data needed to monitor progress from the baseline, to provide information that can help managers assess performance and identify weaknesses, to collect robust evidence of basic healthcare availability and readiness to provide services at PHC facilities. Sample size: 72 primary health facilities per state, 9 secondary health facilities per state, 9 private health facilities per state. Personnel involved: NBS, SBS, FFOH. Status: planning is ongoing.
Oh, yeah, they are the TOT stage currently. Then this is another survey, which is the longitudinal phone call survey. As of when this was done, we were at the phase 2, but currently we're done with it. And most of the information or what you need are also domiciled in our server there. So you can always access it. Now the objective of this is to monitor socioeconomic effects of COVID-19 pandemic on household. During the COVID period, so you can attest to it that so many households lost their means of survival. Things were difficult for people, and so there was need for us to study how people were actually surviving the hardship of that period. And because of the hindrance COVID brought, people could not go to the field directly to elicit information from people. So we have to use phone calls to track, and you can imagine how difficult it is. Sometimes when you go to the field one-on-one, you know how some people are not really willing to share idea with you, to give you the needed information, that cooperation, let alone when you are not even seen, when you are far from somewhere and you are calling. You understand the kind of challenging situation you find. So, but then we're able to canvass 4,440 households, and the reporting domain is the state. It was MBS personnel that did that in collaboration with World Bank and MBS. Then the data collection is done. The report is already there for you to download if you need to run any study on that. Then other data source via survey, we have the mix, which is sponsored by the UNICEF. Then we have the Living Standard survey by World Bank. Then we have WASH norm, which is water, sanitation and hygiene outcome routine mapping survey, also sponsored by UNICEF. We have BESDA, which is better education service delivery for all, also sponsored by Federal Ministry of Education and UBEC. Then we have National Agri Business Samples Census survey by World Bank, and labor force also, which is done quarterly by National Bureau of Statistics, the labor force survey. Then here are some of the administrative data you might find on our site. Maybe by the time we go through navigating the site itself, we'll be seeing some of these things. So these are administrative data, possible ones you can always find on MBS sites for your own research. So then this is the site, the Outlook. You can always get it through www.nigerianstats.gov.ng. Then when you get to the site, you see where that arrow points at, the red line there. Those are the three places you can always touch to get anything. If you, sorry?
We don't need to make a special request.
Of course, you will. You will be asked. There are some information that you don't need requests to get, and there are some that you just have to register. When you are approved, then you can have access to whatever you want. So COVID-19 Data Hub, we have the e-library and we have the data warehouse. Under the data warehouse, you see something like Open Data Portal. That is another portal on its own. Then we have the NSDP, we have the NADA, we have the Health Atlas, then Foreign Trade Monitor. Possibly, I don't think that one is currently there now, but as we navigate through, we'll see what we want. So this is how the Open Data Catalog looks like. When you go there, everything, the citations, everything is there, so that you can go through for your own use. Whatever you are looking for, you can access. So introducing the Nigerian NADA data platform. So as a means of background, much training and reference material has been produced on data collection, data processing, data analysis, with less attention being paid to documentation, preservation, and dissemination of survey data sets. Most often we do research, we don't think of how to archive them And that's why most often we lose track of some important data sets. Just like Madam was telling me that the youth survey, they said the data set is not available. Maybe while the consultants were planning, they never thought of archiving properly. And as it is, you can only find the report on MBS site. So, and the reason why we need to do more on archiving of our thing is it's cost effective and user friendly, such that you can always go there anytime, any day, and you get whatsoever you need. Then solution to preserve and disseminate micro and metadata according to international standard and best practice. The development of NADA system is to facilitate the exchange of this metadata, which comes in DDI formats, Dublin Core, IHSN standard. Then to facilitate metadata and data quality control, to work with common data formats for easy data access. So someone will ask, what is NADA? NADA simply means National Data Archive. Is a program that helps the interchange of data online, and that is a system MBS deployed to our server, which our web, for easy access of metadata by researchers, what have you. So if you want to get, and the cataloging system is by national, subnational, order accredited. Now the whole essence is to preserve survey instruments and metadata, to search for survey information including code books, external resources, citations and catalog, direct links to anonymized microdata file, open source application. I guess most of this will understand it when we get to do the practical and see how it works, right? Some of us are sleeping. Like, if I catch you sleeping, you come and continue, right? All right, that's just on the light mode. So this is an open data source microdata cataloging system that serves as a portal for researchers to browse, search, compare, apply for access, and download relevant sensor or survey information. So just like someone asks, are we going to just go in and we are given access? You need to apply, you need to register, you'll be asked to sign up for it, then they'll send you a mail with some short codes for you to activate. Then from there you can have access to whatever you are in need of. So it was developed by International Household Survey Network, IHSN, to support the establishment of National Survey Data Archives. So it complements with the Data Documentation Initiative, Metadata Standard. So this is how the interface look when you get there. You see we have the study description, we have the data dictionary, get microdata, relative materials. The citation is just this way, so that you can always look at what, if it's what exactly you need or what you want before you go ahead downloading. These are more areas where you can actually do your search with the keyword. searching using keyword so that whatever you want, you can get it. Most often we stay there, people ask that they can't find anything because at the general interface, you just look at it, you feel there are nothing on the site, but we have a lot on that site, but just that people don't know how to navigate through it. So whatever you want online, you can always get, as long as it's hosted on MBS site. So case study for the NAISS NADA platform. So the NAIS NADA Data Archive is part of the catalog of MBS portal. It was initially designed and developed by UNB using a private NADA portal, and eventually it migrated to MBS portal. The portal currently contains NAIS data sets and all relevant DDI, RODF, and other materials. Although hosted on MBS portal, but access to the data is secured and fully controlled by Federal Ministry of Health. So, and that's what led to we signing up. And
now, before you go there, you said something about you want to navigate the website that you have a lot of data. I remember that I wanted to use a particular museum. I can't remember what it's now. What I noticed is I don't think you have that kind of data, but because of what I used to think. Now, from what you just said now, it might be because I was unable to navigate out this way. Is there any effort being made to make it easier for people to access those data?
yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, right? So we'll take ourselves through those challenges. The much to the best of my own ability, I will show us through. So maybe you don't know then, now you will know. You will have better understanding. Yes.
Is there a way it can be actually escalated to make the site itself easily accessed by everybody?
Yeah, just like everything is evolving, we are trying our possible best to see how best we can make it simple for people, even in diaspora, to navigate and get whatever they need. We are growing, we will get there. For much you needed and you can't find, you pardon us, we'll gradually get there. You get it? What the level at which we were about 7 years back, and now there is really huge gap, and I see us getting there. And we can't do it alone without your cooperation, your own inputs, your suggestion, and better advice on where to go. And that's why we have seasoned researchers here, right? So whatever you see, also like sometimes I too do research and I check around other statistical agencies around the world and look at what they have. I bet you at least MBS is much better with what we have compared to some other African countries or contemporaries. But then we are not sitting down on that. We hope to do better and much better. So, but we can't without your support, right? So thank you. So, and for us, I think this is also a link to further escalate your research on this thing. But most often, some persons will just type www.nigerianstats.gov.ng. Anything they can't find at that point, they're not seeing possibility of further extensions, right? Sometimes, even among some of my colleagues within the bureau, they themselves don't even know that there are a lot of things that are in that server. So when we know how to navigate, at least our problem is 50% solved, isn't it? Yes. All right. So this is how the NADA platform looks like, and for us to get more, will be asked to make a sign up. So you sign up, and from there you can get access to so many data. You can also search using keywords on the interface there. These are just the overview of things you find. Maybe when you were searching then, did you get to this point, sir?
I think I got to like the sixth page. Then I said, we don't have what I need.
Okay. Maybe what you actually needed was not available as of then, right? Or what do you think? Okay. Maybe we'll check it again if we can find, right? So, for MBS NADA portal, those are the requirements for you to register. And if you're looking for those ones within the realm of the public use data sets that is controlled by Federal Ministry of Health, these are what you'll be required to enter for you to be granted access into their server to look for whatever you need. Don't worry, just like I said, this slide will be made available to each and every one of us to guide us, right? So these are just similar interface what you saw earlier, and this is how the information comes up. You see it by request information, first name, last name, organization, email. I think that's much about it. Then this is the National Statistical System. The National Statistical System data producers include CBN, National Population Commission, the states statistical agencies, stroke. I guess someone is sleeping, right? Okay. So, Ma, hello, Ma. Help me with the first bullets. We'll take it that way so that we can be together, right?
The National Statistical System. Data producers include CBN and MPC, SSAs and SVS, PRSDs, federal MDAs, PRSDs and state MDAs, statistics units of local government councils. The CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, National Population Commission, and State Bureau of Statistics, Planning, Research and Statistics Department in Federal Ministry Departments and agencies, Planning, Research and Statistics Departments in State Ministries, Departments and agencies, and Statistics Unit of Local Government Councils.
All of them make up that National Statistical System. They are all part and parcel of the system. Suppliers and household and establishments. We won't just sit in our office and start creating data, right? Sometimes I've heard some people, they'll just come up and say MBS is just giving us what is not. There was one time an economist held me. He was almost strangling me just because he saw my ID card. No, they do that thing. Eh? Who are we? It is what we get that we analyze. You know? Yeah, people don't even look at what we put in to achieve all this. But for those that know, my boss, I'm coming. For those that know, they appreciate. Though that doesn't mean that we are very perfect. For everything we put out there, at least we give ourselves 90% assurance, because we are not just representing ourselves, we are representing the nation. So we try as much as, and we're not just working in isolation. There are a lot of seasoned researchers that are in MBS. Profs, name them. You get it, from various fields. So, and they work in collaboration with MBS. Sir, you have a question?
Yes, because I don't want...
Is it a question or contribution?
Question.
All right.
I don't work with the MBS, but I was also accused recently. And because I was reporting I was presenting what
MBS
reported. And this is the unemployment rate that has dropped drastically from 33.3% to 4.1%, which is now defined, instead of working for a minimum of 20 hours per week to working for a minimum of 1 hour per week. So you may have more, because if the person that attacked me knew I don't work with
MBS,
and yet I was attacked. So you might receive more attack if. So are you sure you are not going to be attacked here?
Sir, you will not attack me. So, we are brothers and sisters in this fellowship.
So what is? I was trying to defend you people.
You are trying to defend Nigeria, not MBS. You are defending Nigeria.
That it is not MBS fault. It is because they want to align with the
international best practice
as defined and as suggested by ILO. So, but again, if you look at it from the flip side, how can somebody work 1 hour per week and the person will not be extremely poor? So, does it really reflect our context? That's the issue.
Well, this thing had generated lots recently, and even within we, the staff, we had put our heads together to say, though it might work in other countries, particularly the developed nation, but when you look at it in our own context, it might not be. But come to look into it critically, that doesn't mean in Nigeria we don't have some persons that what they make in an hour is what some sit to make in a month. Do you agree? It might be very minimal. Yes, it might be very minimal, and that is where this issue came from. That how many, what are the percentage of those persons? But since this is what the practice holds now internationally, we cannot do away from it. We'll try and align, and over time, I think it will also help governments to start doing something drastic to ensure that, like here in Nigeria, I don't think there is, and if there is, there are very few where you work and you get paid per hour, right? I don't think we have, and if we have, it's going to be very few. But that doesn't mean that we will now sit behind a bench. We are trying to move. And when we move with trend, it will also help inform our policy makers to start doing things around that. I think in the course of I'm not into politics, but I've overheard the Labour Party presidential candidates said when he emerged as president, he will ensure that some persons get paid per hour and all those things based on whatever indicator he has studied. You get it, to arrive at that. And we as an emerging society, we cannot just sit back and stay because we can't be doing what people had moved away from. You understand? We need to move with the trend, and that is why most often everything around statistics we refer to international best practice, isn't it? Hello? Isn't it? So sir, if we want to align and want to key into international best practice, are we still going to be sitting on the old system? Now, there was sometimes we have economic activities long then when the it was fragmented into about 24 economic activities. Over time, they expanded, isn't it? So are we now going to say, oh, because we have not arrived there, we should stay back and still be practicing or looking within? No, we need to move. It will help us to expand our search, and I think that is what led to that. I think on my own, this is the much I think I have to see with regards to that. But as researchers, you might also know when you consult, according to Prof, right? You said we should read and read and read and read. So as research, you read and read and read and read until you discover what is missing. So, but the much I have read, this is what I think I have to explain. But is there any other contribution?
It is read and read and read. The much you have read, you have not done the two other ones.
Okay, sir. Of course, we are still reading before we get there. So I'm still reading. We'll get there. Of course, we have to take cognizance that we still have two other stages that we'll get to. But we need to keep reading. And we can't just sit and be doing things the old way. And that is why MBS, in fact, if you check, not just ordinary persons or fellow Nigerians that critique that, even the former MBS boss, if you read very well, Dr. Yemikale, while he was on seat, he never wanted to adopt that because he had looked into some of these things. But you know, the new SG, in his own wisdom, decided to just go that way. But as a seasoned statistician and once SG, we from the inside will be feeling like it shouldn't have come out publicly to critique. But actually, that is science for you. That is science for you. So we can't just do it and we expect people not to critique. The more criticism that we get, the better we get.
So we can simply report that there are no unemployed people in Nigeria in the business of it.
Well, if you look at it, I think that is it. Because, sir, of course, because with the advent of POS, you see many graduates, and what they make per day, when you put it together in a month, they make almost what a civil servant is waiting for at the end of the month. Sir?
They are underemployed, not unemployed.
Can we say that we don't have unemployed people in Nigeria?
Sir, that one I can't answer it. You know better. Yeah, researcher, sir. You can't. I didn't get that too. All right, so someone should help us with the third bullet, please.
Analysts and users build policy and decision makers, researchers and academicians in universities, research organizations, corporate planning of public and private sector organizations and NGOs, international organizations, students, etc.
All right. So in all these persons, either directly or indirectly, contribute to what we have as the national statistical system. And we that were here, we are also an affiliate of this by extension. Our research, our queries, it will also inform international communities and donors to come into Nigeria and query some aspect of knowledge, right? And thus contributing to the vast vacuum that we have in our statistical system. There are a lot of gaps, many things unsearched that are waiting to be researched on. So, but as we ponder around all this, and with the little that we have, you know, most often research consumes a lot. And for someone like me, I'd always advocate for administrative statistics than doing full survey because of how expensive it is to embark on a survey. So, but then God will help us as we progress. So, with what MBS is doing, we have the State Statistical Yearbook. We compare various states' Bureau of Statistics to produce statistical compendium, which is like a yearbook. And in doing that, some of them, because of the financial implications, some of these things are done. Some are like a zonal yearbook, like this North Central states. They collect their data and they produce under the zonal space. So we have the North Zone Yearbook, we have the Northeast, we have the Northwest, like that. And so we have the National Statistical Yearbook for all the states. Most often, if you go to State Bureau of Statistics or statistical agencies of states, you will definitely see some of this. And it's cut across so many areas of interest. Other source of secondary data, we have annual abstract of statistics, social statistics, statistics of women and men in Nigeria, statistical bulletin of MDAs, statistical data and metadata exchange. For those that want to do further analysis, that want to go deeper into areas such as, some area of studies that you want to look at things that were not pulled out. You know, sometimes when we do surveys, we have a lot of things to research on, but at the end, we just pick the importance. Then there might be some areas that are not actually flashed that you want to look into so that you can bring them up. So maybe when you go into the then data analysis consideration. Developing tools for data analysis depend on the size of the data, mode of storage, the user's need, level of details, and more mode of dissemination. Hello? Did this strike any?
Yeah.
You are looking?
Yeah. I'm wondering if, of course, if you can give a further explanation.
All right. Data analysis consideration. Say developing tools for your analysis. When you want to do a research, you start planning, right? And it depends on the size you are taking, right? That will determine what you use for your analysis. Am I making sense?
What do you mean by the size of
your population size, the size of your study. Yes. Right? So it will also help you to know what kind of tool to use. You know, all these things are planned in the whole process. When you want to do survey, you bring brains together. You have the ICT gurus, you have all those. So everybody look at what is, and they'll be able to advise which best fits the study we want to embark on. So all those things will be considered from planning stage before we embark into execution. Data analysis. The link between data and understanding tells how to go from data to assessment, transform data into information. Are we making sense from it? Yeah. All right. When we want to educate officials, through policymakers and others on how to describe a situation, classify the component parts of a situation, help assess why something happened, forecast, project what may happen in the future. These are reasons why we need to do some of this, so that we can either forecast, we can help them to assess, why certain things happen. Like we're talking about, is it gender-based violence? Recently, people are being killed, marriage are being shattered, and some persons were dying in silence while they were suffering. You know, you want to, madam, you are laughing. Is it funny? But of course, that's the truth. Some persons are dying in silence in there. Meanwhile, they have, maybe if you had spoken up, you may have gotten little help, advice to get out. I mean, being in marriage is not a condemnation to death, but then just because some factors, maybe like the case of the popular musician that died then, gospel musician that died in a marriage, and you know, maybe she kept it looking at herself as a minister of faith, and that it will, how will it look like that someone of her own status is passing through that. You know, she wouldn't want to open up, and so many persons too are passing through a whole lot in their marriage. So, and there might be need for us to start doing research to know why various persons decide to keep mute. Could be religious reason, could be, you know, they have so many reasons why they will want to save their marriage, keep quiet, die in the marriage while the other person continue. Stage before data analysis. These are various stages data passes through before it gets to, from data processing, we have data system and development, your coding, data entry, computing, editing, and data validation, frequency table and sample estimates, then standard errors of estimates, then we generate the statistical tables. What do we start thinking of data analysis? Focus on data analysis at this time when the survey or data collection is in the design phase, when detailed plans are being made for data collection, after the data collected, and when thinking of reports writing. Levels and type of analysis. I think the first presenter did much about this. The descriptive, simplest, present facts, summarization, quantitative, measures of central tendencies, where you have your mean, median, and mode. You have measures of dispersion, range, standard deviation, the measures of association, projection and forecasting. Then we have our spatial, cross-sectional, 1 point in time, time series, looking at particular characteristics over time. We want to check that over time, over a period of time. Then longitudinal, same individuals are involved in that study over time. So this is how data exports into SPSS looks. Then this is how it looks in Stata, MS Excel. Then analyze data presentation comes up in whatever formats maybe table, line charts, bar charts, pie charts, whichever that fits whatever you are trying to represent best. So all these are what you put into your plan, how you want to go about your presentation at the end. You know, after putting rigorous time doing research, there is need for you to also present it so that people can see and understand what you are trying to aim at. Now, there are many statistical analysis packages available today. Some are very expensive, while some are just there free for you to make use of, from simple to complex and robust analysis. So all of them, they have their own strengths. Are we together? They have their own strengths. You have the SPSS, Starter, R, MATLAB, Minitab, Start Graphics. We have eViews, Shazam, Excel, etc. It's the list is endless. It's the one that is best that you can use, and again, it's not just how you can actually use it. You know, some persons are good in SPSS, while some persons will tell you they prefer R, or they are good in R. So what flows for you, what is good for you, you know. Then we have ArcGIS, we have GeoMedia, etc. for raster and spatial data analysis. So thank you and God bless. There are a lot of questions that are waiting for me, so I will do justice to the one I can, else I will call the Elijah that sent Elisha to come and yeah, we will. Mama, be coming down, be coming down. Mommy, be coming down. We are going to go through them. All right, if there is any question, or we just go into practical, and we have Wi-Fi available, so let's connect our systems and see what we can. Okay, Ma, let's take yours.
Try to log in into that NADA stuff.
I'm with you, sir.
It said it was going to send me something to confirm my email, and I've been waiting for more than 30 minutes.
And they've not sent you. They've not sent you. You sign up, right? They've not sent you the code. You will get it. You will get it. You will get it. So most often this is where people come to, and when for a research purpose, are we together? This is where you find your COVID-19, any data at all around COVID-19, but you cannot access it without permission. You know, this is not owned by MBS, so but we are just like a custodian, so you need to sign up to get maybe access. You need to get access, sir. I think it's a Ministry of Health through this their agency. What's it called? Is he NADA or so? I don't know.
It's not the same that you said was sponsored by the World Bank and you make calls to 4,400.
The COVID-19. Yes, we did, but we were not. Okay, World Bank sponsored it, but not directly. It's through Ministry of Health. You understand? So they did. All these donors don't just come to MBS. There's an organization that is actually in charge of health issues. But since it's something that is statistically based, that's why we have control to an extent, but we are not controlling it directly. So then this is e-library. From our e-library you can also find some materials through the e-library. It has various filters for you to look at, to look for what you want. And thirdly, we also have the data warehouse. Similarly, under the data warehouse, like there's a drop down here. You have reference documents, economic statistics, socio-economic statistics, annual abstracts, sector statistics. You have crime, population, and migration. So depending, you can just filter. If what you are looking for is around migration, these are materials that are available based on migration studies. So you can either download it using this download arrow, or you check if there is summary for it. You can go through the summary, and under the summary here you see the download reports. That's if you want to look into the reports more. And sometimes there are some of these reports. Sometimes some comes with the report and the Excel file as well, while some are just strictly reports. For reasons best known to the organization, maybe they need people to request. So if you look around, you see, like for example, commodity price index and terms of trade. You see we have about 380 download. So you can always click here if you want to download the reports. You have the highlights, that's the summary. Then here you see the Excel file and you see the report itself to download. Also, we can also get additional data here from the data warehouse. When you click on this drop down, you see open data portal. You see the one for NSDP, the NADA, the Health Atlas, the foreign trade. These are Android and iOS applications. That's for if you want to download the app for use. So when you come to your open data source portal, are we navigating together?
About mixed data, you said the round for 2021-2022 is available. It's not on your website.
The mixed data, yeah. 2022, no.
It's not available yet, but no. It was in your presentation.
2021-2022 should be there.
It's not there. The most recent round is this round, 2016-2017.
Ma, this is it.
Okay. It's not in the library. Where is this particular document? The data set.
The data set. Okay.
Not the reports.
Okay. The data set might not be hosted for now. Maybe based on request. Might be based on request. You go through your e-library. From the e-library, you go to your search. I'm not in the ICT hub, but I know within 24 hours. Yeah. They will respond within 24 hours. They will respond. They will respond. Well, it depends on what is. You know, it's government agency. I can't tell. I can't tell. I can't tell. I don't think there is payment, but it will just take process because for the data you are requesting for, they might need to find out from the affiliate organization, if not directly ours. You understand? To get permission, and they want to know what use. You understand? So they are being careful not to release those anyhow. Ma?
So is it your name that's on the contact? So?
My name, not my name.
So we can request.
Not my name. Not my name. Not my name. B Fafami. That's my director. Director ICT, not me. So you have his contact there, at least for further. Huh?
This one now for Ondo State. I create for Ondo State now. So is it this recent one that is there? This most recent, even want to quote like in the year?
This for 2017. This for 2013.
But this one there, this on the profile.
Go up. On the profile. Yeah, it should be for the most recent.
Okay.
For the most recent. And the one base is the previous years.
Yes, okay. So the most recent should be, is it this?
So if you want to go, just go to more data.
Okay.
Go to more data.
Okay.
Where you can get better information. To give you better information, then you can browse the data sets through it. That's what we have. Ma, what happened? You are not connected. What happened to your internet? Okay, obstructed. Ma, any question? Okay, you're making request. Let's see. Sir, any other way?
Yes, I'm making the line.
Okay, you're using your phone.
So it's not connecting.
Okay. Doc, am I saved? Huh? Yes. Yes, we have them. And they collect them quarterly. They collect them quarterly. So, Doc, are we saved? I'm going to learn from you.
He's where.
See, okay, fine, sir. So at this point now, these 1, 2, 3 are just where all our data is stored. So anything you're looking for, if you didn't find it in a library, you get it here. But those ones stock here are on request. So you will be made to sign in. They will send you a confirmation code, then they will grant you permission. Then there are some data that you just need to write an email to request for. So, you know, as government organization, they are trying to be careful on what to release and what not to release. So they need and what you want to use it for. You get it? So, because at the end, they will hold them responsible. So they need to know your reasons, what you want to use it for. So it's at that level.
I can't go back to the office. I need to know.
Boss. Doc. But you are used to navigating MBS sites. This not, you are not new there. You are not new there.
The only issue is that, okay, well, you see, you have to apply anyway.
Of course, you sign in. They will give you, because most of the data are not MBS on.
Who do we apply to? How do we apply to them?
Now, you have, these are contacts here for further. You can call Mr. Chedi. You can call Mr. Matthew Moses. They will give you better ways. These are people that are in charge of the data bank for subsequent. But if you come through this way, you come to your, we have the open data source here. If it comes up, depending on the data you are looking for, they might tell you to sign up. When you sign up, they might give you, and if the data is such that is codified for private use, they might ask you to apply via email. You know, as government agency, we are being careful not to just release information anyhow. So you need to do extra follow-up. You send an email to those numbers, I mean the email on the platform, then follow up. Of course, they will definitely reply you. You're still booting.
They should. I'm not waiting for them. Can't remember what I was looking for.
Don't worry, I'm here. Now you have me. If there is anything, call me for follow-up. I will help you out. So on this now, you can see the description of the data, if it's exactly what you need. Okay. You can browse the data sets and all those things. So from there, you know what exactly.
Okay. There is one, you said you can get information for wash.
Wash.
So you can get information for wash. That is
okay, now come to this place. Come to this place. Let's go back. I mean, sorry, e-library. Come to e-library. This is where you have the wash reports. It comes up.
Okay.
Ma, are we together?
No, sir.
Are we together? Like this. You can search it using socioeconomic. Socioeconomic. As much as you search, we have so many. This is wash. This wash. These wash reports. These are reports. Sometimes behind the reports you have the tables. That's the data that was used. But for this one, the Excel file is not there for you to use. Sorry, sir. So, my auntie, this is 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Those are the 3 tabs where you can actually get any of the resources you need. But majorly, this one is COVID-19 related strictly.
Okay.
Then when you go to e-library, you have so many reports, and some of the reports are, in fact, most of them they are free.
Okay.
Then when you come to your data warehouse, when you click, you have a drop down. You have the open data source. You have the NS.
Is that where I touched?
Yeah, you touch the open data. Open data source. Yeah, that's the one you touch now.
This open data portal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you also have NSD. Now the open data, you have this, you have NADA.
Okay.
So whatsoever you're looking for, you should be able to find. But on these ones, you will be made to sign up and make requests.
Just normal sign up.
Yeah.
Name and details.
Just like I projected, there are some your email and all those things, so that they will send you a code.
Okay.
A link for you to access. Yeah. Boss, why don't you?
Is this data on the new employment rate, is it not up yet? And
the current unemployment rate.
yes. It's 28
Check.
report
That you're seeing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to home. Let's go back home. Okay, this is
This is the data portal. This is the e-library.
Okay. You can get it by the e-library. Search the e-library if it's there.
Where's the search button here?
I think that's economic statistics.
Yeah.
Scroll down some. Why is your screen doing like this?
It's a system. Is it the same thing that is on the e-library? The data warehouse is just for the raw data.
Yes, you have raw data there.
But they are just reports.
This one is individual reports and Excel files.
This one is?
Yes, just report and Excel. But on the other side, you find the metadata and citations.
What I'm trying to see now is the current employment.
If it's not available, that will get there. If it's not available, we'll get there. Well, you are correct. Yes, sir. Hello? Yes. Have they replied you? Have they replied you? Mine was done within some 20. Have they replied you? I did. They will reply. They will surely Boss. Thank you, sir. Are you having any issues? Hello, sir.
I'm here now.
This you can filter by statement. You can filter by statement or year analysis. Various years for sale. And if you need more, you can come to where it will give you more breakdown regarding what you're looking for. So maybe you want to look for this state. You want to look for one state. Maybe have
What am I doing?
you can research on it.
And let me start from
Charity begins at home. Was Aqua Bomb and others. Let Aqua Bomb do research about it so that they will not say you are biased. So that they won't say you are biased. So when you click here, you have more data.
How are you?
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. So, expanded understanding. Okay, if you want to create account, I click that.
Yes, my list, but thank you, my love.
Women like colors.
Sign up.
You click sign up. I'm sorry for delaying.